Vietnam prepares troops and warns of floods as storm approaches. Ho Chi Minh City allows food and drink takeaway services. Chinese foreign minister visited Vietnam to boost ties. Vietnamese man jailed for 5 years for spreading coronavirus. Enjoy Hanoi delicacies through sketches. Hello and welcome to FBNC News. This is Chuyên. Now we begin with the preparation work for the upcoming storm. Vietnam has put 500,000 soldiers on standby, readied evacuation plans and ordered vessels to stay in port since Thursday, as flood-prone provinces braced for the arrival of tropical storm Conson in the coming days. Conson, which will be the fifth storm to arrive in Vietnam this year, was gaining strength and could impact as many as 800,000 people in northern provinces and trigger landslide. It is expected to make landfall early next week. Conson killed 1 person in the Philippines and 17 people were missing, authorities said on Thursday. It brought strong rains and caused flooding in central regions, displacing thousands of people. According to Vietnam's health ministry, tens of thousands of people who needed to be moved to safer places were living under a coronavirus lockdown and health protocols needed to be observed. The government has ordered impacted provinces to ban vessels from going to sea and to prepare evacuation plans for people in low-lying areas. According to the country's meteorology agency, Conson, which has passed through the Philippines, was interacting with another storm. Typhoon Chantu was evolving in a complicated manner. Vietnam is prone to destructive storms and flooding due to its long coastline. Natural disasters, predominantly floods and landslides from the storms, killed 378 people in the country last year. The weather agency said there would be 6 to 8 more typhoons or tropical depressions in the East Sea this year. The Ho Chi Minh City People's Committee on September 8th issued a new decision on COVID-19 prevention and control measures as the city continues to stay under the Prime Minister Directive 16, with outbreaks still not properly controlled yet. After 2 months of complete shutdowns due with COVID-19 outbreaks, restaurants and other food and drink services can now resume delivery of takeaway orders between 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. every day. The southern city, currently the COVID-19 epicenter of the country, will allow postal service providers, telecommunications, IT devices and equipment and office stationery vendors to reopen, also within the same time frame and also only for delivery orders. The decision is made as millions of students in the city are starting the new school year via online learning. Workers at these businesses must have received at least 1 dose of COVID-19 vaccine and be tested for COVID-19 every 2 days. Supermarkets, convenience stores, and food stores are allowed to open. Shippers can operate within the perimeter of a single district or Thủ Đức City. Establishments producing and trading in pharmaceutical materials, drugs, medical equipment, and medical supplies are allowed to operate from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily to meet public needs. The People's Committees of District 7 and Củ Chi District, considered to have the COVID-19 situation under control, can establish plans to allow their residents to go shopping for food and essentials once a week. Chinese State Councillor and Foreign Minister Wang Yi visited Vietnam from September 10th to 12th, discussing cooperation in the COVID-19 fight and vaccine assistance. The visit also aims to continue boosting the comprehensive strategic cooperative partnership with Vietnam for the benefit of the two peoples and for peace, stability, cooperation and development in each nation, in the region and the world. During the visit, Wang co-chaired the annual 13th meeting of the Steering Committee on Vietnam-China Bilateral Cooperation, together with Permanent Deputy Foreign Minister Phạm Bình Minh, and held talks with Foreign Minister Bùi Thanh Sơn and made courtesy calls to Vietnamese leaders. Belgium's biotechnology company Universals can access and provide vaccine for Southeast Asia in particular and Asia at large through cooperation in Vietnam, according to Minister of Industry and Trade Wang Yi. He made the remark during a recent meeting with representatives of Belgium's biotechnology company, trade partners and the Wallonia Export Investment Agency on cooperation in COVID-19 vaccine and medicine production. The meeting, part of National Assembly Chairman Vương Đình Huê's visit to Belgium and the European Union, was among efforts by the Ministry of Industry and Trade in seeking vaccine supply and carrying out vaccine diplomacy. A representative of Universal said the company is paying heed to investment in vaccine production facilities in Vietnam, along with production of personal medical equipment, experience sharing and training for vaccine manufacturers, and connection with the various partners to find suitable financial sources for cooperation projects. Yi suggested development orientations in line with the country's infrastructure in the field, urging the Belgian firm to promptly send suggestions and materials to the Vietnamese side for consideration. And more on economic news. Now, Vietnam's garment-textile and footwear have borne the brunt of COVID-19, and firms in the sectors may take a long time to recover, experts said. The sectors greatly contribute to the country's exports as well as generate jobs for a large number of workers. However, many factories remain closed due to difficulties triggered by the ravaging pandemic. Estimates show that a footwear firm with about 9,000 work hands needs to spend approximately $1 million on preventive measures, while the cost of input materials have risen 5 to 10%. Some businesses said they are facing fines for late delivery and risks of losing orders for the next season. Chairman of the Vietnam Textile and Apparel Association, Vitas, Vũ Đức Giang, said the COVID-19 pandemic continues to spread. Firms may not be able to maintain and stabilize operations as well as retain customers. It is important to keep the workforce amid uncertainties of production plans, COVID-19 vaccine shortages, and unpredictable developments of the pandemic, according to Vitas. To restore production of the sectors, the Ministry of Industry and Trade will work to remove bottlenecks and provide the most possible support to help factories resume operation and take advantage of orders at year's end in the European and US markets. In addition, the MOIT will step up the implementation of a development strategy for garment, textile, and footwear to 2030 with a vision to 2035 and the building of a program on sustainable development of the sectors until 2030. It will also strive to expand export markets, capitalize on advantages of existing free trade agreements, diversify export items, and improve the competitive edge of products and brands. You're watching FBNC News. A man was jailed on Monday for 5 years for breaking strict COVID-19 quarantine rules and spreading the virus to others. Lê Văn Trí, 28, was convicted of spreading dangerous infectious diseases at one-day trial at the People's Court of the Southern Province of Cà Mau. Trí traveled back to Cà Mau from Chi Minh City and breached the 21-day quarantine regulations. He infected 8 people, one of whom died due to the virus after 1 month of treatment. Cà Mau, Vietnam's southernmost province, has reported only 191 cases and 2 deaths since the pandemic began, much lower than the nearly 260,000 cases and 10,685 deaths in the country's coronavirus epicenter, Ho Chi Minh City. Vietnam is battling a worsening COVID-19 outbreak that has infected more than 536,000 people and killed more than 14,000, the vast majority in the past few months. The Vietnam Football Federation has asked the International Federation of Association Football and the Asian Football Confederation to step up the inspection and assessment of the quality of referees. In a letter addressed to FIFA President Gianni Infantino and AFC President Salman bin Ibrahim Al Khalifa, VFF Vice President Trần Quốc Tuấn extended his thanks for their support for the VFF to organize the Vietnam-Australia match on September 7th at the Mỹ-Đình National Stadium in Hanoi amid complexities brought by the COVID-19 pandemic. The VFF supports and appreciated the decision of the FIFA and AFC on the use of video assistant referee during upcoming matches of the final stage of the 2022 FIFA World Cup Asian qualifiers, he said, adding that the September 7 game was the first match that VAR had been applied in an official international football event hosted by the Vietnamese football body. However, the VFF believes that the referee made an inaccurate decision in the Vietnam-Australia match that affected the game's eventual results. As a responsible member in the hope of contributing to ensuring fairness and justice in FIFA and the AFC's official tournaments, the VFF calls on the two football governing bodies to strengthen inspection and evaluation on the quality of referees, in a bid to effectively officiate upcoming matches and protect images and prestige of the final round of the World Cup qualifiers. Vietnam will play China at the neutral venue on October 7th. The match is to take place at Sharjah Stadium of the United Arab Emirates. The team of coach Park Hang-seo will travel to Oman to face the hosts 5 days later. Vietnamese footballers are to convene a training session on September 16th. After two matches of the third stage of the qualifiers, Vietnam ranked 5th in the Group B, with Australia being top of the group. This is the first time Vietnam have ever played in such a round of World Cup qualifiers. Now, even during the social distancing period, Hanoi is still beautiful with its rich culinary culture through drawing, which evoke love and nostalgia, thanks to an initiative of the Urban Sketchers Hanoi group. The challenge of drawing Hanoi's dishes at restaurants has created a playground for the art lovers and helped its members practice drawing every day. More than 100 sketches have been submitted since the beginning of August, and the challenge was still receiving enthusiastic responses from the members. With more than 7,500 members, the Urban Sketchers Hanoi group has organized many sketching sessions on streets, dormitories, and craft villages, contributing to preserving the values of Hanoi's heritage and culture. Since the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, the group's members have turned to sketching online only by imagination and details in their memories, with a large number of members of different ages and professions, but the overall quality of the sketches is quite good, beautiful in arrangement and color. The Hanoi Cultural Center under the Municipal Department of Culture and Sports has released 8 songs to encourage people's spirit and solidarity amid the ongoing COVID-19 and express gratitude to frontline workers. The song was composed during a campaign for COVID-19 fight. Upon the launch of the campaign, as many as 65 songs and 165 poems by 111 authors were submitted. Of them, 40 songs and 70 poems have been selected by the jurors. To encourage the fight against COVID-19, the 8 works will be broadcast to the local systems of loudspeakers across the capital city, along with channels of the Hanoi radio and television broadcasting.
Có những người lính thầm lặng hy sinh, gác lại chuyện tình yêu, ngày đêm canh giữ quê hương yên bình.
Nơi đây dù gió sương, xin nhường nơi ấm cho nhân dân tránh dịch.
Khoác lên màu áo xanh để bao em thơ giấc ngủ an lành.
Now, this has come to an end of FBNC News this time. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Please stay safe.